Well, it is dark in here. I have this problem every time. And it's grainy, so it's not me, right? It's just grainy every week. It's something we have to deal with. All right. I'm not going to do this week. I'm not going to play, but I might have to. All right. We've got to get this lighting problem fixed. I've got to get my eyesight checked again because I can't see. Hi, Kiki. Hi, Mel. Then it just reflects the light. I don't know. I don't know. Lighting in this room is difficult because this is the room that we kind of chill out in during the evenings and things. Like the TV's in this room and the couch and things. And we don't keep it real, I don't know. We don't keep the TV on, so it's not like anyway. Anyway, does the screen look grainy to you guys? Or does it look clear? It's just grainy on my end. I don't know. Who knows? Hi, Raven. All right. And I need to pull up this little memo note thing here that Lee sent me. So, a lot of you probably already have heard or have seen the new course that we have built and we are offering. Um, the course is spirit led for sure, came in dreams and such. And um, vulnerability and connection. Vulnerability and connection. Um, that is so needed, right? How many of us really, 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 really are 100% vulnerable with the ones that we're connected to? And I say ones that we're connected to because I'm meaning not only um, not only the ones that we feel are our divine partners, twin flame, connected ones, whatever. I'm talking about with all of the people that you are connected to, albeit mother, father, sisters, brothers, friends, distant family, right? Um, how many of us really can be all the way 100% vulnerable with everybody in our lives? I mean, oh, life is so much easier, but it's a hard it's a hard path to take, right? A lot of times our pride gets in the way, correct? Like our pride, our ego, right? Um, I'm not. I'm right. I'm not forgiving them, and I found that a lot of times when I really find myself vulnerable in a state where I have no choice but to be vulnerable, right? Hi, fairy. Um, that's when it hurts the most, when I don't want to be vulnerable, but I have no choice but to be, right? Um, those kinds of situations are um, they're hard to navigate. Pull this out. I did a medium reading today, so I'm looking at this paper. When I do a medium reading, I start with a plain sheet of paper, and then it by the end of the reading, it ends up like this. So I've got them like sometimes I have like a couple of days, so I've got these things floating around everywhere, and the whole doodle thing. I find myself shying away from it if it risks bothering others. You know, I'm the same way. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I'm the same way. Um, I don't want to be. I want to be vulnerable in all those situations and vulnerable to the people that I don't want to be vulnerable to, right? Um, I don't really want to annoy people or bother people with, if I'm feeling vulnerable and just, for example, if I'm in with my mother and I need to be vulnerable in a situation, it's hard for me because there's no vulnerability on the other side. So um it's all defense and projecting, right? So if I happen to start expressing a feeling or something or and it gets sort of smacked back at me, then I get that. I shy away too. I don't want to risk like her not talking to me anymore, but I think I get more information when I find myself vulnerable with her and maybe she's picking up on it. I'm not sure, but it was hard for me to be vulnerable with Lee for a very long time. And sometimes it's still depending on what it is, the situation, what it is. If it's something that I should have handled and I didn't handle correctly, or if it's something that I should have done the way maybe he projected it, but oh no, I had to do it my way because it was the right way type of shit. It's hard for me to be in that vulnerable state and even say like, you were right, or I should have done it that way, or I had to learn the hard way. I do that a lot. I do that a lot. So hard to be vulnerable with people not open to receive it. Yes. Realize that is what triggers me with my dad, for sure. He hurts me when he doesn't receive it or comfort me. It's the same thing. Star, I had to stop and realize that my mother doesn't even know the definition of vulnerability. And my mom is one of those types of people that, um, she's just set in her ways and she's in her 70s and she just, um, yeah, that's just the way life is. And when I want to say something to her that, you know, might bring up something from the past or I need an answer to, then she gets really defensive. So it's really hard. It's really hard. But I wasn't able to cry in front of my mom even because there was never any hugging or consoling or anything when we were growing up. So when we left the house and came back, there was no hug you, no, there's no I love you, there's no none of that. And be careful, and there was none of that. I was like, see you later. Hugging, no, no, not in my family. We don't hug. I do, I'm a hugger. And for a long time, I didn't. For a long time, I just kind of stood back because I was like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm a hugger now. So if you meet me, I'm going to hug you. It's just that thing in me. Um, Hi, how I feel like I shouldn't be vulnerable until I complete certain tasks. After completing those tasks, I feel I can put all my walls down. Yeah, Kiki. You know, I lived like that for a very long time, and it was stressful sometimes. I'm I still do that sometimes these days. I still do that. I make a list in my head of things that I want to get done and things that I need to get done, and then by the end of the day, if I've accomplished those, then I'm all happy. If I haven't, then I've come down on myself, and then I come down on everybody in the house. It makes it really hard. I don't mean to do that, but I'm listing less and less. I guess I should say. Share, how are you and how was your son's homecoming? I am doing wonderfully. So far, I'm doing good. Um, I do have to get labs in the morning, and I have a feeling that they're going to be fine. So, um, you know, Cameron had homecoming on Saturday, and it was good, except for there was a few little minor things. last Sunday, Cameron was at his hockey game, and it was a very big game because Cameron started playing hockey when he was 4, and he's 15 now. And for 3, 4 years, maybe, all these kids of the same age were playing on the same team with the same coach. We all became family, literally. I mean, we did so much together as a family, as a team. We traveled, we did a lot of things together, traveled to tournaments, had a blast. Well, as they got older and moved on to different clubs, different things, Cameron plays for his high school, and there's still the club that he played for. It's still going, but he would rather had played for his high school. He got a high school letter. Well, he was playing the team that had 4 or 5 members of the old team on it. And it was so cool because all the moms, we all got to sit together, and I got a low battery. Let me plug her in. And we were sitting in the stands, and the game was about to start. We're yakking, and I look over. I'm looking for Cameron on the field or on the ice. I'm like, where is Cameron? I don't see my son. Where is my son? Next thing I know, one of the team moms walked up to me and said, well, Cameron hurt his wrist, or not his wrist, his arm, and he's in the locker room. Now, he plays hockey. So most oftentimes, and it sounds brutal and it's not, but most oftentimes it's like, pick up your teeth and get back on the ice, buddy. I mean, you got a bruise. You're going to have a few of them. You're going to be missing some teeth. He's not, thankfully, and he's never had an injury, a bad injury. So since he was 4, he's had some bumps and bruises and some serious. He took a puck to the chin once, and it was pretty ugly. However, they were like, he wants to go to the ER and he wants to go now. I'm like, okay, well, I don't hear the kid screaming. He's probably strained, or sprained or whatever. And she's like, well, it's not swelling. And she was a nurse, and she was like, it's indicative of break. So I was like, okay. So I said, look, we'll be back, because I knew we were going to go to the ER. It's going to be sprained. We're going to come back. Everything's going to be fine. No, it's broken 2 places. So the boy has a cast all the way up to here. And so now we had a homecoming suit on Saturday, a suit that he was wearing, and trying to fit the jacket over it was he barely wore the jacket. He just wore the vest and a dress shirt and his suit pants. And when he did wear his jacket, he put it, just kind of slid it over a sling, whatever. No big deal, right? It wasn't as big of a deal as we thought it was going to be, right? So I thought, worst case scenario, I'll cut the sleeve out and then take it to a seamstress, have him put it back in, whatever. Saturday, he went to his homecoming game, game on Friday, dance on Saturday. He decided to go by himself with a few friends, meet up a few friends there. He gets there. He has this elaborate plan to stay for the next dance, this junior and senior, because he had a date and a junior. They couldn't go. He was going to hide in the bathroom. It was going to be a mess, but it didn't work out that way. So he ripped his pants. So I guess they were doing some odd things and trying to stand on their. Who knows what 15-year-old boys do? I don't care. All I know is he called and said he needed to come home because he ripped the crotch out of his pants at the homecoming dance. So we went through that, and I was volunteering for my transplant community. We have a fundraiser every so often, and we, as a community, transplant community, we are transplanted people who support pre-transplant and post-transplant recipients and families. So if they're having problems getting the medications, or if they need special equipment that we all might have donated, we have sort of like a little medical supply where we've all donated all of the rest of our medical supplies, things like that. So we've got a post or a pre-transplant family about to lose electric. So we help them out with that bill type of thing. So we have a couple fundraisers throughout the year. And this was a big golf one. So it's our biggest fundraiser of the year. And so I was volunteering out at the golf course all day for the transplant group. So we had to come back for 2 hours, get him ready, take pictures. It was a mess. We finally got home, and I think I went into a coma and didn't wake up until like 11 on Sunday. It was crazy yesterday. It was insane. Let's see here. Um, yeah, he heard it. He heard it. It was high hugs. It's a pretty bad break. And I'm like, well, I guess we're not going back to the rink. And they did, in fact, go back to the rink. Um, Ron and Cameron went back to the rink just to update everybody and let them know that it is, in fact, a break. They put a temporary cast on it. And that was on Sunday. And Monday, I had to make an appointment that on last Tuesday, we went and he got his permanent cast. So he'll have it a week tomorrow and he'll be in it 6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully, it's just 6 and he's not missing hockey practices, but he's not allowed to be on the ice. So he's just there. He went to the game last night to support his team, and um, he'll be back on the ice in 6 to 8 weeks. The minute he gets that cast off, he's going to be back on the ice, and I'm going to be a nervous wreck. There, that is. So that happened. You know what? And what was interesting because that kind of thing, Cameron's a 15-year-old boy. And when you break an arm, it hurts. It doesn't feel great. And the kid wasn't crying, right? He just wasn't crying. And he was like, I gotta be tough, man. This hurts. I gotta be tough. Like, Cameron, you don't have to be tough, man. Just let it out. I know that hurts. And that type of vulnerability, especially when you're a teenager, like letting people see you cry, it took me a long time to, even at the end of a movie, when me and Lee were watching movies and I was crying, boohoo crying at the end of it, and just trying to play it cool, rub my eyes, you know what I mean? Oh, my eye, I'm sneezing. Well, my nose is stuffed up type of shit, to not let him see me cry over, I don't know, a movie about a dog or something. And oh God. Oh, Hachi. Don't ever watch it. Just that movie. Anyway. Um that movie gets me every time. But uh again, vulnerability, right? How I try to encourage Cameron to be vulnerable. I try to encourage him to show emotion. And he watches Lee and I, so I know that he's catching on. I know that he is. Hi, Sharon. We are having a retreat in November. We are actually having a meeting about that tonight when I get done with this live. We're scrambling at the moment, and we're going to have to come back for a 2-day retreat, but I believe this is only going to be a 1-day retreat. So it'll probably be on a Saturday or a Sunday. We're really hoping for 11/11. We're going to find out tonight. We were scrambling looking for a place this short, but nevertheless, we are coming to the DC, Maryland area in November for something. And we're going to find out if we've got a place finalized tonight, and we're going to get out the information as soon as we get it nailed in, for sure. Hi, Sherry. Were there ever any times when you felt rejected by Lee or Lee felt rejected by you? Do you think the connection to your twin feels weaker when one or both people are in a bad place? Actually, no, I don't feel that it is that makes us weaker. It makes us stronger. Because we don't hold things in. I'll let him know. No, just the other day, I felt rejected, and then instead of holding it in, I brought it up, and what my head was telling me was completely different from what really happened. We have this little routine in the morning. I have a little meditative routine, but the first thing I do when I wake up, and when Lee wakes up, sometimes I wake up before him, sometimes he wakes up before me. It's just whatever. So I will ask him how he slept, and I'll ask him how he feels, right? How do you feel? I want to know how he's feeling today. And The other day, I was talking to him and he walked right by me and I was like, oh, all right, good. Whoa. So he went to the bathroom and then I was finishing up what I was doing, my hair or something. And I came downstairs and I turned his coffee on and I thought, wonder why he's not talking to me. Did he have a bad dream? Why isn't he talking to me? Like, why am I getting the silent treatment this morning? Like, what have I done? Did I hit him in the middle of the night or whatever? So now my head was making up a story about why he wasn't talking to me, right? So here I am going through my head going, okay, I need to break the ice and I need to see if he's talking to me or whatever. So I said to him, so hey, I didn't lay out anything for dinner. So what do you suggest, you know, um, for dinner, right? And he snapped at me and was like, he felt pressured to make a decision about dinner. And I was like, okay, well, so then my head went a little bit wonky. So not only is he not talking to me, but he got snippy and I couldn't figure that out. I was upset. So my body was starting to feel tight. It was starting to feel tingly. And my head wanted to go in 100 million directions. My head wanted to turn around, like not my body, but my head, like the exorcist type of thing. My head wanted to turn around and look at him and just do what the girl did in The Exorcist, right? That's how I felt. Um, but I said, no, I'm not going to hold this in. I'm going to find out what's going on. So I said, you know what? And then my head's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And he was like, what? I said, you know what? Never mind. Never mind. Because I just didn't feel like conflict. So he was like, no, now tell me what's going on. And I'm like, I don't know what I've done. I don't know what I did to deserve the silent treatment I've gotten from you. I don't know what I did to receive the rejection. I don't know what I did. So maybe you could enlighten me on the rejection. What do you talk about? I'm like, this morning when you walked past me and I was talking and you just shut the bathroom door, like whatever. And then when I was trying to communicate with you and find out what's going on by just kind of breaking the ice and saying, hey, dinner. I mean, really, do I ever ask you about dinner? Um, I was going to handle it regardless, but I was just trying to talk to you. And then when I did, you kind of jumped and he got defensive. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I don't know why you're getting defensive. And he was like, I don't. Then he said, I don't even know what you're talking about, rejection. I didn't even hear you when you were saying things to me this morning. Like, I got up, you were doing your hair. I thought you were on the phone. And then I went to the bathroom. When I came back, you were gone. So, and then when I came downstairs, you didn't say, how'd you sleep? Or how you feeling? So I was like, well, what's wrong with her? So I chose to be vulnerable and turn around and say, you know what? But my head tried to stop me. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to hold on to this. I'm going to find out what's going on. And my head projected an outcome and I got that outcome. Um, I think I had something to do. And he was like, what is this about? And I was like, I just was talking to you and you just went straight to the bathroom. It just felt like you were rejecting me. And he was like, gosh, I didn't even hear you. Really, I didn't. So that's it. It happens. It happens. Let's see. I cry at the airport watching people reunite. I've done that before. I really have. I saw a little girl jump on her dad, and he was in a military outfit once, and I lost it. I lost all control. I was like, ah. And I was totally with somebody that I barely knew, but it didn't. I was totally vulnerable during that. Um, let's see. I wonder how long it takes to not compare the other guys to twin. The new guy is like, you were sent for me, and he seems great. I just can't help but feel a sadness. Not sure if it's me or my twin feeling that sadness. Um, how um e- everybody's different. Everybody's different. There's really not a timeline for that, and that's really a head thing. Um, the comparison thing is so difficult because I did it. I did it. I did it a lot, and it made it harder for me. Gemma, it made it go. It made it harder for me to go out and date and have fun, and we feel when we go out on a date, on our first date, that this could very well be the love of our life. This could very well be the the one we've waited for. It very well could be. And when we go into that date, that's how we treat it, as if we're about to get married. We don't get to know each other as much as we used to, right? Um, we don't talk about our likes and our dislikes. What we do, and we get, well, I had an ex that did this and I was scorned and I did that and I had this guy cheat on me and I have trust issues and all these things that get knocked out on the first date, where I figured out that if we didn't talk about all that, then I could get to know the person a little bit better, right? And having a conversation with somebody who is different than the one we're connected to, but opening up your mind and realizing that um, everyone is different, and this person may very well have the qualities that the one you're connected to has, um, and also other qualities that wasn't there before, that wasn't there with him, right? um, Comparison's hard, and it's a head thing, right? I look, um, I was married to two men in the same racial group. I'm trying not to say anything out of line here. Look, I'm just gonna go. I married two white men, and and then I had a soulmate who was a white male, and he and everybody that I dated after him, I compared him. I compared to him because he was awesome. He was great. Um, and then I did it with Lee. I compared after I met Lee too. And it took something in me to say, you know what, I'm not. This person is not Lee. I'm not going to treat him like he's Lee. I don't want him to be Lee, right? Lee is Lee, and it's getting over the fact that this person isn't going to be in your physical everyday life. I don't want a half of a Lee. I don't want a person with Lee's qualities and traits. I don't want that. I didn't want that. I wanted a whole new picture, a whole new ball game. So if you are looking for similarities, or if you're looking for qualities that the new person has that the twin doesn't have, that's going to be real detrimental to your relationship. Where do we go? Uh-oh. It jumped on me. I do this a lot. Getting my head is the worst. Girl, I look, I am the queen of getting in my head. Queen. I try to talk myself down from it and remind myself why my thoughts may be wrong. What evidence do I have to support, or what evidence, right, do I have it denies? I get it. Um, Hello, Defined. How are you? Oh, I know who that is. Hi, Sylvia. And Sherry, can you write down your email address, please? Yes, I'll do that right here. I'll do that right here. Wait, do you want my personal win or the business one? Okay. This is how you'll get me. There. Emailed that. Oh, that's wrong. Typo. Typo on that. Here we go. And yeah, there it is. Please do that, Sylvia, because I was looking and I can't find it. I feel like if we're comparing them to twin, it's really not the other person. It's really not the other person that we want. Like we're looking for twin inside of that other person, if that makes sense. Very much so. I did the same thing with Lee. And then I realized that the reason that Lee and I weren't together were the reasons that I was finding in those other people. That's a true statement. That's a true statement. I had a chat with Lee this last session about this. Hey, how I close off other connection because I'm saving myself for my twin. I never realized that was an excuse I was using to stay disconnected. Tyler, dead on, dead on. Maybe Lee is doing something up there. We aren't getting to know them for who they are, but trying to get to know them to find twin flame inside of the other person. Dead on it. Pursue you. Dead on it. Dead on it. Where you got your training, I don't know, but it's amazing. I love it. Do you think the connection to your twin changes in intensity in union than in separation? When Lee was in a bad, dark place, did you feel the connection to him was more intense or less intense? More intense when we were in separation, only because um, only because I kept up telepathic communication, and with the twin, that old saying, the absence makes the heart grow fonder. It's very true. It's very true when you are truly connected and you're away from each other for a period of time and you reconnect. It's pretty intense. It's pretty intense. Separation, it varied. It was less intense. It was less intense when I was dating, finding other people, being open minded to the fact that they weren't Lee, right? That's a key thing. You got to be open minded to the fact that they're not them. And I feel like if you find similarities, you got to go on and do something else. If that makes sense. This guy definitely has a lot of good qualities, but doesn't share a lot of the same qualities with twin. That's probably good. That's probably good. Oh, okay, Sylvia. Thank you. Thank you. Mel C. I think in being vulnerable, there's a release of control or trying to control. Mel, I'm telling you, I am a control freak. I used to be way worse, off the rails, in control of everything, of all things. Of all things in Sherry's world, Sherry was in control. I was married for 13 years and that man never knew how to pay a bill or buy a grocery or even know where I'd send him to pay the water bill one time because there was a time crunch. And I can drive to the water department, get out, go in, pay the bill, get back in the car, come home. It wasn't like that. How do I get there? Where do I go? What do I do when I get there? Blah, blah, blah. Control of everything. Control of the kids, control of the house, control of the finances, control of everything. And it was exhausting. It was exhausting. Yeah, it was exhausting. Vulnerability definitely is a release of control. Definitely. For sure. For sure. Mel, that is spot on. When we try to replicate them with others, it's not the same flame ever. unforgettable, undeniable soul connection. Boy, ain't that the truth, hugs. It is. I know who you are. I know who you are. That's why I said that, Megan. As I said before, as I said before, I wrote a whole song for someone local to discover it was for myself and twin, not the new person. A whole song for someone local. Ah, got it. Um, Sylvia. Okay, I've said thank you, Sylvia. Definitely. I love that. That's funny. Yeah, he's not twin for sure, and he's available. But yeah, I think he's more feeling it than I am right now. You know what? Probably because you're still hung up on somebody else and you can't find happiness till you're while you're focused on somebody else. Twin or no twin. My twin got married last week to someone else. That's probably a good thing, Sylvia. Um, there are some things that he probably needs to learn. So it's better that you not have to teach him, right? Um, it's hard though, being in that kind of state. Um, I think the times when I was most vulnerable was when Lee and I were in separation, and at that point, you have no choice but to be vulnerable and to speak your truth and to just be like, I'm sorry for my part. I apologize for my part, and I don't, and I take responsibility for my part. That's a big deal. Taking responsibility for your part, right? Um, and crying and telling him how much I loved him and how I felt. Letting all of my feelings pour out. And that's what I should have been doing all along, right? Why now? Why now? Why now are you crying and you're sharing your innermost feelings and you're vulnerable and you're letting all of your walls down, but why can't you be in that space all day every day, right? Why can't you tell me how you feel? So we started that program, right? So tell me how you feel. Well, I feel rejected by you, or I feel like we have disconnected in some sort of way, or I feel like we need some time alone together, or I feel like we're not we're not affectionate enough, or I feel like I've got some jealousy going on, or I feel like whatever it is. Um, just saying I feel like, and that opens up a whole new uh, conversation for us to be able to be vulnerable with one another and talk about how we're really feeling. Like I feel like the other day he looked at me and he said there was a statement made by my mother about a comment that was made, and I don't know if I shared this on my live last week, but it was or maybe we did it on a video because I remember us sharing it sometime, but um, about me dying. And normally things like that won't bother me if it comes from my family, but I thought, my gosh, it wasn't about what was said. It was about why would you relay that message to your daughter, even if I'm grown, even if I'm in my 50s? Why would you say to a child, your child, hey, at the last family picnic, so and so said this about you, but I don't remember who exactly said it. Oh, you know what I mean? And I caught myself being triggered, and I caught myself being angry, and I caught myself being sad, and I caught myself crying, and I got myself together. And it wasn't about a half an hour, and Lee came down from session, and the energy was different clearly. And he said, "Oh, what's going on?" And I was like, "What?" I said, "I'm getting ready to make dinner. How was your session?" And he briefed me a little bit. And he said, "So what's going on with you?" And I said, "Oh, nothing. My mom had said something and I'm trying to shake it off, but it's really hard." And and so he said, "Well, what are you what was said, Sherry?" And I told him, and I said, "It just is heart-wrenching that she would even relay that to me, let alone, know that one of my siblings had said it." had said, wasn't she supposed to be dead 5 years ago? And it hurt. It was hurtful. And I guess I was hurt. I wasn't even hurt at the person who said it. I was hurt at my mom for even letting me know, right? I would never tell my kids if somebody said something like that about them. But anyway, um, I after I said it, I just started crying because I just don't understand why. And he just walked over and grabbed me and just hugged me. Just hugged me. He saw that I was in a very vulnerable state. I was in a very triggered state. And maybe at that point in time, he never knows which way I'm going to go. So he hugged me in order to diffuse if I was going to go in that direction. I don't know. But he does that. He just walks over and hugs me. And that's most of the time all I need. He breaks my heart. He knows we are a twin. How could he do this? Because, Sylvia, there are things that he needs to learn. And let's be glad it's not you that has to teach him. This doesn't mean forever. It's not the end all be all. We'll talk. We'll talk, Sylvia. We'll talk. Um, in all fairness, the name's rhymed. Well, right. I may be too focused on all the stuff with my son, and my twin just keeps reaching out. Yep. Yep. If he feels that release, he's going to, if he feels the fact that you are entertaining somebody else or talking to somebody else, they're definitely going to feel that. And that's when they want you the most. But they still won't leave their situation. I don't get it. It is what it is. I agree that you're too focused on all this. Well, maybe not with your son, but I agree. There's some focus issues happening there. How? Um, I have awful parents too, toxic, manipulative. I can relate. Yeah, it's interesting. I was ashamed of getting in trouble, so I haven't told them what's really going on for what I said for twin to drive the car, breaking out trust issues. Um, a lot of that's the reason that I find myself being having this tough exterior and not being vulnerable and not really tapping too much into my feminine energy because I was raised that showing emotion was don't cry, suck it up, type thing. Throw some kerosene on it, pick your teeth back up and get in the game, type of shit, right? Yeah. Yep. Seems like I'm in this guy's experience right now to help him heal. And there and here I am moving forward without twin. How? That's good to hear. We love you and we are here for you. Oh, thank you. Val, amen. To other people teaching our twins how to treat us better. Ain't that the truth? I'm not even ready to have a convo with twin until he's ready to take care of his ish. And that's a great big thing, right? That's a great big thing. I've been preaching it for so many weeks. I know you guys are sick of hearing it, but it's one of my passions is to help the people who are stuck in the situationships. And man, y'all, it's hard when you're connected to somebody to break cycles with them. And we're getting there. Quite a few people we're getting there. And if I just help one, I'll feel accomplished. If I can help one out of a cycle, but I know of 4 or 5 that have broken that cycle personally and have moved on. And I have one that I have a client who just got engaged to not the twin. She's still connected to the twin. Obviously, she's always going to be connected to the twin. But look here, twin's married and he's been married for 10 years and he's already told her he's not interested in leaving his marriage at this point. Kids and finances, right? It's all bullshit. Um, it's all bullshit. But anyway, she She did. She went out on 3 or 4 dates and she did the whole comparison thing and she had miserable time. And the first guy she dated said, "Hey, look, I know that it was your first date back in the game, but it's been a couple months. Can we try to go out again?" And she was like, "You know what? I'm going to give this guy a chance and go out again." And she did. And she was like, "Look, I was too early for me to be dating. I hadn't got this person out of my skin yet." And he and probably will never, because we're connected on a spiritual level. However, he wasn't choosing me, and I've had to learn to choose myself. And she's super honest with him. And yeah, and so I think it was a second or third date. He was like, "Look, I know that I'm not him, and I'm never going to be. I'm going to be me. I'm always going to be me, and I'm always going to be honest, and I'm always going to tell you the truth. And I think you're beautiful, and I think you're amazing." And it took that to for her to be like, "Oh, there's somebody out here who really does care about me, and he wants to care about me." And gosh, it's been maybe a year and a half now. It's been a year and a half of the dating of him, right? And shaking off that energy Twinergy, and realizing that she can still be connected to Twin. She'll always be connected to Twin, and they can communicate and talk as often as she'd like, right? Still ask him for advice, still talk to you about your day, all those things telepathically. But this wedding is going to be beautiful, and she's excited, and she's sick in love, and she hasn't thought about I asked her just the other day, I said, "So, what's your thought process where it comes to the twin?" She said, "I haven't thought about him in months." Like in months, I haven't thought about him. I'm enjoying my life. I'm getting ready to start a brand new one. I thought I was going to be single forever waiting on this. And I'm so excited. And I'm excited for her. I'm excited for her. Her life is beautiful and she's enjoying every second of it. And I'm stoked. Honestly, if I had honored my own boundaries, I wouldn't have been in this I wouldn't have been this far away with Twin, but coming to peace with this connection, with the connection, being in this reality, being in this reality instead of potential future. Potential future is something that I talked to somebody about yesterday, where they're planning for this future. They're planning on having this many kids, planning on the future. Spending all this time planning on a future that we don't even know is going to be here. We don't even know what's going to happen. I don't even know if I'm going to wake up in the morning. I don't know if Lee's going to wake up in the morning. So he probably is, and I probably will. But should he not, and we had spent a bunch of time planning for something that wasn't even going to happen, that's even more of a loss. Oh, no, now Lee's gone in all of our plans too. Yeah, I don't even make plan for Saturday. I don't. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I need to have a yard sale. I need to have a garage sale. Ugh. And I'm tired and I don't want to do it, but um it may or may not happen. I don't know. But it's one of those things like, maybe we should just go ahead and have a yard sale this weekend. Um, I, I, I don't, I don't look too much in the future. I just don't. And Lee doesn't either. And that's because it's not even here yet. So why worry about it? It's not here. Da, 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 da. Thank you, Sherry. I love it when you remind us that better they learn them lessons with someone else than with us. Yes. Currently, reality has a combo of mundane and dreaming future and seeing what was previously planned before fruit. Oh. What future? What do we know? What do we know? Do we know what we're doing Wednesday? I think I have a doctor's appointment Wednesday, so if I don't wake up, I won't be there. Right? After my separation, love this honest chat. Thank you. After my separation, I was working on surrendering my twin flame connection to the universe and accepting it as is. 2 months after, another person comes out of the blue expressing overwhelming love to me. Some experts say that this new connection is my twin ray. This twin ray wants to pursue me, and although I like him and his way of showing his love towards me, my heart is still with my twin flame. What do I do? You're never going to be happy as long as you're focused on somebody else. Um, I know this to be a fact. I know this because I let Lee go and I started dating somebody else. So did he, right? Um, if you, I'm going to go ahead and say this, and you guys aren't going to like it. You're not going to like it, but it's the truth. Should you truly be twin flames, unless they're deceased, unless they're deceased, there should be absolutely nothing that could stand in your way of union unless you let it. And if he is letting it and you are not, that's a problem, right? Him or her letting it is letting things stand in the way of your union, is financial reasons, the kids, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody, the house, I just don't want any of the drama. We've got kids and soccer. I don't want her to have all my money. I live in Germany. You live in Ohio. How can we be together? I could go on for days. I could go on for days. And there was so much bullshit keeping me and Lee together, but I promise you this, or keeping me and Lee apart, but I promise you this, the fight in both of us, not just one, the fight in both of us prevailed. We both wanted to be together. We both couldn't be away from each other. We both felt this intense. We both did at the same time. And that's why we're here. And that's why we're together, right? That's exactly why. Because he wanted it. And when it comes to twins, they want it just as much as you do. And they can be telling you and telling you and telling you, I love you. I love you. You're my spiritual connection. We are twin flames. As soon as I get out of this situation, I'm going to work on this. We're going to be together. We're going to be together. We're going to be together. Bullshit. There's nothing that could stop you. Nothing in the way. Nothing. Unless they are laying in a hospital bed in a vegetable state or they are deceased. Their choices are keeping them away from you, or your choices are keeping them away from them, period. And until those are resolved, those choices have to be honored. So there was somebody else, then you have to put your tail between your legs and move it on to someplace else so you're not messing with somebody else's marriage. So it's a process and it sucks, but you know what? There's nothing that could keep me from Lee. I don't care if it was an ocean 17,000 million miles wide. I would swim the damn thing just to be with him for the night. And vice versa. The same freaking thing. If you're getting excuses why your twin can't be with you, male or female, I don't give a shit. Get a hold of me to break this cycle. One way or another, we can break the cycle. It's a mundane cycle. It goes on forever and it's horrible. Hi, detective. What you do, Sonny, is you've got to live in the now. You've got to live in the 3D world you're living in. And if your twin isn't choosing you, then you've got to choose you and find some other path. Let's see. Like, where am I meant to move kind of future and gardening at new home, not years from now, like 90 days out. Where am I meant to move? I'm not sure what that means. Good reminder of how all of our power is in the now, right now, all right now. Thank you, Hal. He knows about my twin flame connection and is willing to wait for as long as it takes. I am so confused. What does this mean for my twin flame connection? Does this mean that my twin is also dealing with someone else? Doesn't mean any of that. It means that you are not able to, for one reason or another, be together, right? That's not possible, because I promise you, if it was possible, it would be happening, right? So the fact that there's somebody not choosing union, right? There's one of the two of you that's not choosing union. And if that's you, you need to do some work. But if it's not you, if it's not you, you've got to find peace, love, all that stuff right here in the 3D. It doesn't mean you're going to lose connection with your twin. It can never mean that. You cannot lose that connection. That means you have a spiritual connection with somebody on a 3D level you can talk to, you can envision, right? And you can close your eyes and have a conversation with that person, all the while laying next to the person that you love and you wake up to, and who chooses to be in your physical presence, who wants to be in your physical presence, who chooses you. Oh boy. Aren't you still connected with your twin even when one leaves the physical world? That's correct. You're still going to be connected. So that's what I meant by that is, unless the twins dead, passed away, or in a vegetable state where they can't make any decisions or choose anything, right? Then there absolutely is no excuse. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. If you're connected and you feel that connection, nothing can keep you from it. If you both do at the same time. If you both do at the same time. Always choose the one who chooses you back. Very much. Very much. You and Lee are proof of mundane daily life with divine love and purpose mission. Thank you. Yes, we do. Actually, I did the dishes today. Lee put them away. Lee vacuums. He does the laundry. We work as a team, and it's amazing. Even getting married and having a child with someone else can't stop the connection. Hello. I did it. I felt Todd would go back for things to put me in the path between us. I asked him once why. He couldn't answer. That makes sense. That makes sense. I completely understand that, Mama T. If your twin doesn't choose union, even if you got to just move forward on your own and possibly end up with someone else happily. Very much so, Detective. Very much so. That is very much true. Yeah, possibly, more than likely, you'll find someone who chooses you versus them not being able to choose you for one bullshit reason or another, right? I don't care how married the twin is. I don't care how married the connected one is. It doesn't matter how married they are, if they got 50 kids, if they're a polygamist with 5 wives. It doesn't matter if they're a million miles across the ocean. I'm telling you, this connection is so strong. There's nothing that could keep you from it if you feel it as intensely as the other person does. Then there's nothing. There's no excuses that could keep you away. We moved mountains out of our way, just like this. We battled, you name it, we've battled it. And this last battle was death. We battled death. We did it together. We beat it. And here we still are out here trying to teach and guide. And believe me, there were boundaries, there were rocks, there were boulders put in on the highways that we were traveling. And our connections just like, and move the boulder out of the way. It works like that, folks. It really does. Oh, my eyes twitching. Somebody. Sherry, was he afraid of union or me? Oh, him. Him, for sure. For sure. I myself cannot produce sperm as I am a woman. If twin wants a baby, I can facilitate as energetically doula, yet I cannot produce unless immaculate conception is possible. There's everything's possible. However, there's definitely other forms. There's definitely other options. A lot of other options. We've dealt with all those other options before. When it comes to the twin, nothing can stop you. Nothing. I promise nothing can stop you. If you stop putting a bunch of requirements around it, the universe is going to bring you love. Oh, so true. So true. I'm going to go because I have this meeting about this retreat in the DC area next month. Well, not next month, but in November. But before I go, I really, really, really want you guys to, um, I really want you guys to um, check out. It's right here in the community page and YouTube. It's also on our Facebook group. We do have a Facebook group. It's called um, Twin Flame Work Group by Relationship Reinvented. Twin Flame Work Group by Relationship Reinvented. If you're not in our group, get in our group. It's also on our Twin Flames Lee and Sherry page, and it's right here on YouTube. An 8-week course we are starting next week, and vulnerability and connection. Vulnerability and connection is key, guys. It is key. Being vulnerable. The course start date is the 4th. We are starting it on the 4th. It's $777. So it's an 8-week course. Now check this out. So for the first 3 weeks courses, I'm going to be speaking with the women or those who identify with the feminine energy, right? Females or those who identify as female. I'm going to be with them for 3 weeks. Lee is going to be with the masculine energy, the men or those who identify as men. He's going to be talking to them for 3 weeks. Then we're going to all combine, men and women, and me and Lee. All of us are going to combine for the 4th class. And then we switch back, except for the next 3 classes, I'm with the masculine energy and Lee's with the feminine energy. And then the final class will bring us back together again. And Lee's got all the classes lined out, what we're going to be discussing in each class. You know, for instance, the first class is what is vulnerability to you and what is vulnerability and connection. And then the second class, we're going to talk about, can you be vulnerable to yourself about why you haven't been, about what you have been through. Class 3 is going to be like, how can I trust being vulnerable to those who love me, friends, family, and even those I'm not close to. The 4th class is how do I stop abandoning, betraying, and rejecting my own vulnerability. So there it goes on for 8 more classes. Check out the information sheet that we put out. It's right here in YouTube. Email relationshipreinvent@gmail.com if you have any more questions. Signups for these are happening right now. So we're signing people up, and I know as soon as we get done with our meeting tonight and we spend our hour going through emails and things, that we're going to have quite a few to answer to. I know that I don't want huge classes. I just don't. I want them to be sort of intimate, maybe 5 or 6 per class, or 6 or 7, whatever. But I want it to be kind of an intimate setting, but it's something that you are going to something that you'll receive a certificate for too. So we're going to be sending those out in the mail. The vulnerability and connection 8-week course. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be running all kinds of neat things in these courses, worksheets and open talk and really cool things. So if you're interested in this vulnerability course, I suggest it for everybody. Honestly, it's a big deal. Vulnerability, we've got to all learn to be vulnerable, and we've got to all learn to show more emotion, show more feeling. Let's see. The Facebook group is Twin Flame Work Group by Relationship Reinvented. Twin Flame Work Group by Relationship Reinvented. Yes, Twin Flame Work Group by Relationship Reinvented. And I did a meeting reading today. That's what this is. So when I do my medium reading, some of you already know because you were in my spiritual class, but this piece of paper starts out like this. I start to doodle. Spirit starts to give me this particular one. There's a couple things that I that I pointed out right here is a flower. I was trying to connect the dots in this certain thing, but yeah, I've lost it. Maybe I don't know where the heck it went. Here it is. But I started here in the middle, and you can see the circles around it. And here's like 4. I was trying to connect some dots here, and Spirit finally gave it to me. But there's names and everything else under there. But I am doing medium readings, so I spend about half an hour really connecting with your loved ones and speaking them by name and talking to them and giving you messages and questions answered, whatever. And then I do a card reading from both my decks. So the Sandra Allen Taylor decks, they're awesome. They're great. And I use them in every reading. I'm also going to be doing a group reading. A group reading next week. I believe it's a Tuesday night at 7, I believe. But I still got 3 spots in that class. So it's 1 week. I'm going to be doing this group reading. And whoever's in there will get a personal reading, and everybody's going to get a card reading by two cards. Though that class is $111. It's for an hour. Everybody will be touched on that's in class. So if you're interested in the group reading, send us an email, relationshipreinvent@gmail.com, and sign up for that, or just say Sherry's medium or group reading. Just put group reading in the info or subject line. Also, the vulnerability course. If you're interested in the vulnerability course, it's $777. If Spirit calls for you to do that, then send us an email, relationshipreinvent@gmail.com. And most of all the information's on that page. So you can find it here in the community. Also on the other places that I said. But if you need more, if you have some more questions about it, or you need help signing up, if you find those information sheets, there's a clickable place that can take you to schedule it and even make payment. So if you're having trouble doing all that, just email us and put vulnerability course in the subject line, and we'll get right back to you. Like I said, after tonight, after we do all of our sessions and things at night, we spend an hour going through email and talking about things. So we need to get we'll get your email tonight, and we'll get you in and get you scheduled. So if you want a personal medium reading, a personal card reading by me, it's $111. And you can contact me at that same email, and I'll get back with you and we'll get you scheduled for sure. Yeah, it's Sprudels. That's exactly what it is. It's hilarious. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to go discuss this retreat real fast and get that over with. And then I'm just going to chill out and enjoy my evening, because I didn't have to cook tonight. We got something from somewhere and brought it home, which was good. And now I can just kind of relax and after this meeting and chill out for the night, because I got a busy day tomorrow. I've got ink therapy in the morning, and I don't know what I'm getting yet or where. That's a Spirit-led decision. And I let Spirit guide me on that. And I love you all. I love you all. Get in on these classes. If you haven't yet, they're going to fill up quick. And I want everybody to get vulnerable. I want everybody to get vulnerable. Your connection will be so much more intense the more vulnerable you are. It's crazy. In every way, the more vulnerable you are. If you're in separation and there's nothing keeping you apart, and you find that you're just not ready, this class is probably for you, for sure. It's an 8-week course, and it sure is going to be an interesting and fun one. Yeah. It's amazing. I'm excited. So thanks guys. Thanks for coming out again on a Monday evening. I keep forgetting we're in evening. I'm still on mountain time, I think. Love you guys, and we'll talk soon. I guess I better get upstairs.